You're listening to the Personal Development Through Martial Arts podcast, the podcast where the world's highest personal development experts and martial arts masters come together to empower and inspire you to become your strongest self and live the life that you truly want. Join host Bogdan Rosu, author, public speaker, and the founder of the first personal development through martial arts school in the world, in the podcast where you become the hero. We're here with Dave Lampert from London Wing Chun. I'm very excited because I noticed Dave's Instagram profile and I got very interested in his work and the way he teaches Wing Chun. We're going to be talking about martial arts, about the challenges that we faced on our journeys, and what you can use, like some of the stuff that we use to get over our challenges and that you can use as well. Dave, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I was looking forward to this interview because we've been talking about it for the past 2 weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, there's been a lot of conversation going backwards and forwards, and yeah, I mean, I know we was going to try and schedule something last week, and we couldn't get the time in. So yeah, I've been looking forward to today.
Awesome. Tell us a bit about yourself. How did you started your martial arts journey? Was Wing Chun your first martial art, or what's your background?
No, I started off doing karate as a young kid, which I studied for a number of years.
Was it Shotokan karate?
Shotokan and then Rosu later on.
So Shotokan was the first, right?
4 years. Yeah, for about 4 years. And then I swapped to Rosu, which was a bit better. It was shorter style. It was I enjoyed it. It felt it was good for that period of time. I mean, I was a kid, obviously, growing up, watching Bruce Lee films, stuff like that. I approached my parents about doing martial arts. I wanted to do Wing Chun. They had other ideas. I went and done karate. Yeah, I'd done that for quite a long period of time, right up until my late teens. Mm-hmm. And then I stopped that. Didn't do much again till my mid-20s. And then, here we are today.
You know why I asked if you did Shotokan karate before?
No.
Because I did Shotokan karate before Wing Chun. So if you're listening and you're doing Shotokan karate, you go ahead and you quit and you start Wing Chun because you're going to be really, really good.
I mean, it was funny. My sensei, the later one, was studying Wing Chun at the time. And I always remember when we used to go around, sometimes we'd train in his garage. And in his garage was a wooden dummy. Right. And again, that was another sort of sparked my interest because everyone gets fixated, don't they, with a wooden dummy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's another thing that sparked the interest. And yeah, when I got the opportunity a little bit later on, I started Wing Chun, and yeah, here we are now.
Well, I'm fascinated by the fact that you knew about Wing Chun when you were a kid. I mean, I wasn't sure who Bruce Lee was when I was a kid.
Well, I was a nerdy child, but I really was into martial arts. So I used to I'd read a lot of books about martial arts of different styles. Right. And I found out Wing Chun was something that Bruce Lee had done in his life, and obviously had a lot of admiration for the man at the time, and still do. Mm-hmm. And it just fascinated me. And it was, I think, even as a kid, the fixation with the wooden dummy. You'll see like the guys training on this wooden man, and it looked fascinating at the time. It was like, what the hell's going on here? I need to learn this.
The sound is hypnotic, you hear that wooden sound.
It's funny. It's a sound that sticks in my head. Having the I was training at a full-time school at the London Wing Chun Academy. Mm-hmm. It's one of the first sounds I remember walking up the staircase, going to my first class. The sound of someone on the wooden dummy. And it's a sound. It's hard to explain. It's one of the most soothing sounds in the world for me. Now, if I've had a bad day or whatever, the minute I hear guys training on a dummy, it's like you feel like you're at home. If that makes sense. So yeah, and I don't know if that's from my childhood fascination with this piece of equipment, or it's just something you get from the love of the art. Do you know what I mean? But there's definitely something romantic about the wooden dummy that draws people towards Wing Chun, because it's a question you get asked quite a lot, even from a beginner that's been there a few classes. When can I train on the wooden dummy? And you think, we'll sort your centre line punching out first, then we might move forward. But yeah, it's yeah.
Dude, I can feel every Wing Chun person, guy and gal who's listening right now to our discussion. I can feel their hearts growing just because we said wooden dummy.
Yeah.
Do you like remember the first time you did like your first drill that you did on the wooden dummy?
We Seafood Mark Phillips encourages us, and we in turn do now, for the guys to get on the dummy as quick as possible.
I like that.
So,
I like that. Yeah, that's very smart.
What we do is we have a structure at the school where we've got beginner, intermediate, advanced. We don't start teaching the dummy form till they hit the advanced class. Well, we get round that, but what we do is we leave the dummy form out in paper form. So we've got some plastic covered copies that the guys can work off, and obviously the guys around them help them pick up the form. So I'd probably say 6 to 7 months into training, one of the more senior guys helped me out, so got me going on the wooden dummy. I remember the first sort of thing I'd use it for was to train my footwork, circling around it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the more experience you get these days, I'm training stick and energy on a dummy. Do you know what I mean? So the more experience you get, the more you can translate what you're doing across the wooden man, and then you start to appreciate what an important part of equipment it is. It's a lot more than just a form. It's a lot more than just going to the dummy and training the form. I done a post a while ago on Instagram where I was just working a few ideas. Some concepts from Chisao on the dummy. And when I say Chisao, I'm not about trying to roll Chisao with a wooden dummy. I'm on about sticking and hitting off, and just maintaining contact, hitting off. And you can then translate it onto a human being. So yeah, it's a massive training aid.
I love it. Okay, like a side note, I love the fact that Mark. By the way, guys, if you're listening in for the first time and you're not sure who we're talking about, Mark Phillips, you know, the Sifu from of London Wing Chun, he's the first person that I interviewed for the podcast. So I love him very much. He's a very, very proficient martial arts teacher. And if you want to check out his interviews, you go ahead and you search for the podcast on iTunes, or just go to addictedtowingchun.com and search for Mark Phillips. You're going to see the interviews there. And I'm very happy that he's teaching the wooden dummy form very early. And by the way, guys, if you want to learn the form as well, I'll link it up. I have a video course. It's free. You can check it out and learn it yourself. You don't necessarily need a dummy to learn the form and to do it, because it's more of a mental game, you know. And I want to touch into that, you know, how much do you use, oh, and the link is in the description, by the way. How much do you use your mental, like your visualization, when you're doing the wooden dummy form?
I think, to be honest with you, with all aspects of training, not just the dummy form itself, but I think the more you progress, the more visualization becomes important to your training. The simple fact, a training partner isn't always readily available for you. You can't always find something to train with. And it sounds a strange thing to say. I train out of a very large school, but you can't always find a person to work with. So you've got to be able to visualize. You've got to be able to use your mind, your imagination. I've been saying to guys for a long time now, the limitation in your martial arts ability comes down to your ability to imagine, your ability to self-train, visualize, self-train. So again, with the wooden dummy, I don't know. You're practicing, I don't know, Kwanzaa or high-low Gan on the wooden man. You need to be sort of visualizing how's that going to translate across the human arms, what energy, how you sticking, blah blah blah. Rather than just going up to the wooden dummy and hitting it, or just practicing a technique on it, There should be a deeper meanings behind your training, if that makes sense. And it gets back to what I said a minute ago. Rather than just spending 4 hours, say, constantly going through the wooden dummy form. Yeah. You could, from start to finish, for 4 hours, or you could spend half an hour practicing a section where you go from bong chor sao, larp sao, chop, and just really fine tune.
You mean this section from here?
That's it.
This motion
when you
here?
do, yes.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite as well.
And you could just fine tune that. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Rather than again the fixation with having to go through the form, break the form down, learn the form in parts, get each part perfect, each technique perfect.
No, no, I
And
wouldn't
again,
do
I
that.
think that, again it's going to that's come down to your visualization, your mental ability, and your mental attitude to training.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously that could get very boring, and if you've got a very low tension span, I suppose practicing bong yourself for half an hour could probably push you. But sometimes training isn't always fun if you want to be good. If that makes sense. Sometimes you have to sort of you do you have to repeatedly train stuff to get the muscle memory, to get the technique correct.
Yeah, we were actually talking
And
about
that's
it in a previous interview that I did with Tiberio Wiriashu, who's a former student, right? Super successful dude, and we were talking more about the personal development aspects, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I remember when you would tell me to hit the wall back for an hour, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this and just hitting the wall back, right? This is so boring." And then after a certain point, you just kind of he said that he just kind of lost himself in the exercise, right? You get into a different kind of space when you're doing a one thing, like you repeating it and beating at it and beating at it, right? Do you encourage that with your students, or do you like to mix it up with more kind of drills?
right. So when I teach a class, I and because all our classes we teach in a very structured pattern. So Super Mark Phillips teaches the first two classes, the beginners class. I teach the Friday and the Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so what we do is obviously Sifa will set the class, and then we follow that theme. That theme will stay for probably about a month. So we might we work a lot of stuff in basic mar, and they'll work basic the basic shapes or the primary shapes: Tan Sao, Bong Sao, Jum, and Garn. And what we tell a class would be structured in a sense: we do a warm up, we do some chain punching, some turning punching, some footwork, some partner footwork, so some Gorsal without any striking or attacking, just moving around, getting used to changing angles. And then the last half hour we'll spend working on a shape or an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment we're working Bong Sao with the beginners. So tomorrow night I'm doing Bong Larp Chop with them, and we'll drill that. So within the class environment, yeah, we short, sharp bursts. We mix it up, short, sharp bursts, because in the modern world, you couldn't spend an hour doing a turning punch with a class. No one would come back to the next level.
True.
Unfortunately.
True.
However, though, when the guys in their personal training and when I'm in personal training, the guys are asking me, "Oh, what should I do? What should I do?" That's when I would say to them, "You take an aspect from the class, you train it. Don't try and repeat the whole class. You take one aspect. So you want to work on your centre line punching. Work your centre line punching. Spend your half hour doing centre line punching." And turning punching. If you're going to get bored of that, mix it up with some turning punching. But don't come in for an hour and try to do everything, because you're just not going to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you just it's like accept the fact it's a journey. It's it's going to take a long period of time for you to get good, and then you start breaking down where you need to get good. I think the unfortunate thing is it isn't until you reach a certain level that you sort of learn how to train. Do you know what I mean? Because you get for me, it was when I hit the advanced class, I realised my Wing Chun wasn't really on point. I need to really start fine tuning what I'm doing and breaking down each bit and focusing on each bit and getting each bit sharp, bringing it all back together again.
Let's get back to your story a bit. When did you start training Wing Chun, and how did you decide to actually help out and teach?
I started in 2010.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just decided one night. I was at a moment of madness, but it works. It's the best thing I've ever done. But I just decided to get back into martial arts. The long story short was I wanted to be good at martial arts when I was a kid. Unfortunately, at the age I was at, you find other things such as women and parties and.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Were you lucky with a sheltered life? Training fades away,
but nobody believes me, right? When I say this.
Yeah, I'm struggling. And I always remember that in the back of my mind, it was always a what if I'd actually continued? Where would I be now? How good would I be?
Yeah.
So I just decided that, one, I wanted to get back into martial arts, and then two, I wanted to do Wing Chun because I always had done. And then I Googled online, had a look around. I found Super Mark Phillips' school, which is is local to me. It's 15 minutes away, luckily.
Wow.
And yeah, I went down a class. Straight away, it was for me. It was for me.
You felt it.
I spent the first couple. Yeah, I spent the first couple of years training like a normal human. So I'd go to a few classes a week, maybe do maybe an extra hour a week, and then I got hooked. And then it was training pretty much every night of the week, anywhere between an hour to 3 hour sessions. Sifu Mark Phillips actually encouraged me to get into teaching. He said to me that if I want to be good, the next step is to teach. And probably the wisest words anyone's ever said to me, because it helped me understand more, because also I was shadowing him a lot at the time. So I got to hear all the classes that I suppose I skipped through, because we're all like that. We all want to get to the good stuff.
Right.
Like, where's the pole? Never said I'm punching. Where's the pole? When can I fight 3 against 1? And so you don't pay attention to the foundation stuff when you're growing up in Wing Chun.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of guys backfill. We've all done it. You go and you brush your basics up and bring them up to standard. So assisting Sifu in those classes, that helped me take the information back in again and take it in an environment where I wasn't under pressure, because I wasn't trying to learn, I weren't performing it, I was just listening. And that helps. And then obviously you get in, then I started teaching the classes. Now, teaching and correcting people's mistakes, the first thing I start thinking is, oh, do I do that as well? Or do I move like that? Or am I doing that? And then you start looking closer at what you're doing. Then on top of that, because you're now a focal point within the academy, I want to look good, so I'm training harder. I want to be sharp. I want to be, again, the thing Sifu said to me, anything I ask a student to do, I should be able to do 30 times. So if I 30 press-ups, there you go. If I asked him to do 30 squats or 30 chain, I should be able to do 30 times the amount of what I'm asking them. So again, that equally fired me up. So now I want to look good. I want to set an example, and I want people to feel what I feel about martial arts. For me, it's not just a twice a week hobby. It's what I do. It's who life. I am. It's your life. Yeah. Similar.
Did you notice, like, when you started teaching, because when you said, like, if you want to learn, you actually need to teach, right? Or
yeah.
I forgot the exact expression that you used. But did you notice, like, when you were teaching, that you were saying some stuff, or like somehow stuff was coming through you that you had no idea you were aware of that stuff, like, and you were actually learning by sharing information, actually learning what you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when things, you make like connections or new connections, you think like, oh my god, I never thought of this like being used in this way also, just by talking about it.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. When you're watching, when I'm watching students move when they train, because there's set drills. I teach beginners and intermediate students, but you start seeing where things could be working elsewhere, and joining, putting it all together. I mean, it's easier looking in from the outside, if that makes sense. Watching people train. Yeah, I'll give you the example. It's when people watch a football match and everyone knows better than the manager, because everyone can see what the players should be doing, but the manager's in the middle of it, so he can't. Do you know what I mean? It's probably a bit like that being a teacher. You're watching 30 guys training, so it's very easy for you to see in that situation what that guy should have done, but it's not so easy when you're in that situation. So by spectating as well, it's allowing me to see other people's mistakes, and of course they're going to be common mistakes we all make, and all I will do personally is I try to make sure that I don't make that mistake. Yeah, and that's how I learn from it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, teaching has definitely changed my view and my Wing Chun mentality. Do you know? Definitely give it another dimension. I don't think I'd be as I won't say as keen, but as far down the road as quickly as I've got without the mentoring for Sifu Mark Phillips, and secondly and teaching. I just don't think, because it's the fact it opens your eyes up to loads of things.
Yeah. And I loved his attitude, because he's so humble. When we did the interview together, he spoke very highly of all of you guys, all of his instructors. He said something along the lines of, these guys actually let me hit them during the videos that we're shooting, because if they were to fight back, like, it would look very, very differently.
Yeah, he's. I don't know about that. He's an immense man. I beg to differ on that one. Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's fun. I mean, it it is fun. The class love it. I mean, I've assisted him for years now, and it is fun. I mean, sometimes my body might say it's not, but I enjoy it. I think it's fun. And to be honest with you, the funny thing is, we laugh, but I do it the exact same to my assistant instructors. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's part of the process of assisting, because we're teaching guys and girls to fight. And unfortunately, they need to be wowed every now and again to wake them up in the class. So yeah, sometimes the assistant instructor might take not I won't say a pounding, but a few nice digs. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we're not in an environment where you get schools where I don't know, the Sifu or the sensei goes around knocking the students around. It's the complete opposite at our school. Sifu Arthur is a very humble guy, as you say, a very helpful guy, and to be honest with you, assisting him in a class is usually great fun. Yeah, I mean, because you learn a lot, and he's got quite a chilled out approach to teaching. Very serious, obviously, but quite a chilled out, approachable approach to teaching.
Yeah.
And yeah,
we're both getting paid by Mark to say all of this cool stuff about it. We're endorsing his brand.
I've got a list in my pocket of what to mention today. But
like a sticky note.
There was a clip on Instagram I put up just before Christmas when I caught I was doing some kicking with the guys, and I caught one of the guys that assisted me with an absolutely beautiful kick.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he thought it was, but it looked beautiful on camera. The only time you ever every now and again you might get a punch goes or a kick goes, but it's accidental. And then we're all adults. No, everybody knows that Sifu's not going around just hitting people, and I'm not just going around hitting people. Do you know what I mean? So it's all good.
So tell me, what were some of the benefits that you felt, or how did your life change since you actually started martial arts and you dedicated more time and more energy in that sense? You know, what changed?
I don't know if anything. I don't know, because I don't know where I would have been now without them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
My biggest fear was growing old, putting on loads of weight and doing nothing but going to work and watching telly. And I knew that I had to do something. I used to play a lot of football. That was coming to an end. I broke my foot. That was coming to an end because, unfortunately, it was putting me out of work, and that was. And I just wanted to find something. I'm not a house creature. I can't sit in the house. Anyone that knows me well knows that I can't sit in the house. I don't watch TV. I don't watch films. I listen to music. I listen to a lot of music. That's my other passion away from Wing Chun. But I can't sit in a house. So I need to be doing something. So I tried the gym. It bored me. I had no, and this is no disrespect to guys that like that. We all have different passions. It was fine when I was playing sports because I had a reason to keep fit. When the football had gone, I had no reason to keep fit, and I wasn't getting a buzz from it. And that's when I realised I needed something I could do that would make me keep fit to do the hobby I was doing. So that ruled out baking and painting and things like that. So I thought, I'm going to have to return to martial arts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got into that, and I suppose, I mean, in one aspect, it's killed the party animal in me, because I train all the time. I can't train, and I'm getting older now. I can't train with hangovers, and I can't train properly. So that aspect of it is probably, my mum would be quite happy. It's probably tamed me at last.
No drunken boxing for you.
No, them days are long gone. Them days are long. I did, after our Christmas party, I had to come in and teach a class. And I hated everyone I was out with that night, to be honest with you. They was all still tucked up in bed, and I'm in teaching. I was in at 10:30 in the morning to teach a class.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, mainly it gives you, it's given me something to focus on, something to really get my teeth into, and it just keeps reminding you that your life isn't about work. And I think in the environment we live in today, so many people are held up in works, everything, got to work all the hours, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
My life is like that. I work to fund my martial arts. So I work to put a roof over my head and do martial arts. I don't work because I've got any ambitions to be the world's greatest electrician. Yeah. My passion is Wing Chun. One day this is what I want to be doing. And I suppose that's that's what changed with me. It reignited ambition inside me that was dying slowly. Just for I had accepted I was conforming to the norm. I was working and coming home, watching TV, going to bed, and yeah, that
You
wasn't
know,
for
like
me.
when I get to meet somebody new, like one of the first things that I ask, like in conversation, like, do you love what you do? Because
As in,
I'm curious to find out. I wouldn't judge somebody if they don't, but it's just something of interest to me. I think it's so important to love what you do, or if you don't love what you do, to fall in love with it or change for something that you do love.
yeah,
Because you just get this sense of, I don't know. I was just walking on the street the other day, right, and this huge feeling of gratitude and joy got over me because you know what? I get to wake up when I want and do what I want, and teach Wing Chun, learn, make mistakes, learn about personal development, teach about personal development, stuff like that. But it takes guts, It takes guts. And I'm sure in your case, it wasn't like an easy decision. Should I dedicate more time to this? Because, like you said, you train or teach 5 times a week, right? It's a huge
yeah.
time investment. How do you feel you overcame the obstacles in that sense?
I don't know. I mean, part of me, I feel pretty selfish. I put Wing Chun before a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've got somewhere I want to be, and I've got a chance to be good at it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to give it 100%. It's as simple as that. Because there's going to come a time when I don't. This opportunity won't come again. I'm not going to be a young man forever. I mean, I'm barely a young man now, but I'm not going to be a young man forever. And I just think if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way of doing it.
Mm.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So I struggle. I was saying, I know you listened to the last podcast on with the other chap. I struggle when guys tell me they can't find time to train. I can't understand people that don't train. I can't. It's a real. It used to be a real big bugbearer for me
Mm-hmm.
because I teach. I see guys come for an hour class and all that, and I can't understand. I mean, I think what, you have a home to go to, you want to watch TV, and I'm like, I just want to train. I'm at work. As soon as it's getting near time to come home and train, I just want to train. I want to get in there and I want to get better and sharpen my hands, sharpen my legs, and I think that comes, as you said, comes down to what you said. I am madly in love with Wing Chun. It's as simple as that. Just financially, I couldn't do this full time at the moment, but there will come a time. I know that will happen. It's a matter of time. Do you know what I mean? And I'll just train hard, train hard, and keep the hunger there.
Yeah, it's very
And that's all.
difficult for us, that we love it so much, and it's very difficult for us to understand how can anybody do or process their day differently. But I think that was a huge problem for me as well. With my students saying, "Oh, but I have to do this." Like, what are you talking about? Or like, I was too tired. Of course you're tired. You don't come for class. That's why you're tired, right? It's like, because they come tired, right? They come in pieces and they leave whole. That's what they usually say,
Yeah.
right? Of course you're tired. You're not coming to training. But all it does is just messes up my day and my positive mood if I think about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guys see. I think the guys see me, and they'll see probably Sifu in there, and some of the other senior guys training and that, and they'll probably just think, "Wow, these guys love training, right?" And the sad truth of it is, it isn't always like that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't every day get home from work wanting to train. And I think this is the difference between someone who wants to be good and someone who's going to get good. Is
Yeah.
training on the days do not want to train. Do you know what I mean? You're aching, you're sore, you're tired,
Yep.
right? But you just need to. You go in, you do what you've got to do. You do your training, you go home. And I think again, it's coming down to what we've been talking about mindset wise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's quite funny because I know I can tell guys just think that all I ever want to do is Wing Chun. No, there are nights when I just want to sit down and rest,
No,
but
it's
that's
like,
not going to make
you want the performance, right? All you want to do is become really, really good, or like have your own school, and that's what you're thinking about. You're not always willing to put in the work, but you just make the choice and you do put in the work because
Yeah,
that's what you
yeah.
do.
I mean,
That's how you do it.
there's days I am absolutely buzzing to train. Right, there are
Mm-hmm.
times and periods when everything's going right, and yeah, I really, really want to train, and then you plateau, and then, or you hit a wall, or you dip below. And
Yeah.
then anyone who's been through that knows it's hell on earth. Everything you do is wrong. Everything feels rubbish. You don't want to train. You start convincing yourself that you're no good. You're wasting your time, and you've got to pick yourself up and keep going to a gym with all that going on in your mind.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
again, you need to train it, I believe, at a certain level to experience that. You're not going to get that with your 2 or 3 classes a week. But anyone who's, should we say, serious into their training will they'll find their confidence ebbing and flowing, and so forth. And the key is just getting in and training it, training through it. So best advice Steve was ever given to me was, when this happens, go do something different. Do you know what I mean? Go train the pole. Say your cheese sale's not working, we'll leave it. Go and train the pole for a
Something
month.
else, yeah.
And that's what I always. So I always say to the guys, whenever you see me doing something strange, something I'm not usually training, I'll hit a wall. So all I do is, instead of getting the hump with what I'm doing, I leave that there. I go and train something else, and I come back with that with a fresh mind.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't get me. I do now get my head around people not training every hour. I do get that now, because not every student can be like that. Not everyone can be that keen. But there was one of the early things with teaching, especially because of the way that I trained, that I couldn't get it. And leading on to this, when someone would say to me, "Oh, I didn't come in last night because I was tired," and I'm like, "Are you joking? I've just worked 7 hours. I'm shattered. I had 5 hours sleep last night because I couldn't sleep from training."
Well, I'm happy for you, Dave, but you know what? You don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not what I'm going through.
Yeah. But it's so at the end of the day, I think again, it's when you mature in your own mind, your own teaching mind, that you just appreciate that we're not all the same, and some people are quite happy to do a class a week. Some people do 4 classes a week. Some people train every hour God sends. It makes the world go round. I mean, if everyone in the whole school done what I've done, I'd probably be getting beaten up every night when I train. Do you know what I mean? Because we'll have like machines. They wouldn't be Wing Chun guys. It'd be like Wing Chun machines.
True story.
So. Yes, yeah, and it's good. You need variety, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Cool. So what are your plans? I see you're posting a lot on Instagram. You have a very nice following over there. And I know you posted once that you didn't expect it to happen, right? It started like a hobby, right?
No, it was a funny thing. I was chatting to one of the guys at the London Wing Chun Academy, and they were just saying to me that Instagram's quite like a good way to just keep a diary of what you're doing. So I set the account up, and I took a few pictures, put them up there, and I got 300 followers. And I remember being over the moon, because I thought, God, that's a lot of people looking at what I'm doing. And then at Christmas I hit 10,000, and it was like, the hell is going on with this account? But, yeah. People. I think people are just interested. I mean, I get a lot of messages now from people, and they're just saying that watching someone else do something, it's inspiring them to do something. And it might not be Wing Chun, because unfortunately we can't convert the whole world to Wing Chun.
Yeah,
I don't know, some strange people. But you'll get someone saying, I don't know, they've always wanted to do gymnastics, and they're now doing that. And it's because I was following your posts and you're really keen and into what you're doing. And I'm like, wow.
But it's so
cool.
Only
started just to share some photos with people. And it's still it's still amazing to me now. But I do like it. I do obviously find it a good way to, one, document what I'm doing. It's a nice way to look back on things. Mm-hmm. And photos. Yeah, the photos are great. They hold great memories. I mean, every photo I post, all of them, they're from training sessions. Every training session always holds great memories. Something will happen in that session that's funny or memorable. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't think, well, any guys that know me or train me know that I don't ever have a boring training session. Do you know what I mean? It's just not in my character. So something will always go wrong, or we'll have a laugh at something. Because you've got to enjoy what you're doing.
What's like
train very seriously, but you've got to have a bit of enjoyment.
What's like one of your favorite stories, or funny stories from training?
Well, I got knocked out a month ago training by a very good training partner, friend of mine. We've been friends for a very long time. Yeah. And I was just trying out a new idea to see if it worked, and I come to the conclusion it didn't as I was lying on the mats. I went to close the space, so I went to close in on his arm, and he was stuck there. And obviously, as I moved in, bang, But I thought because I've come forwards, he's only put his arm forward, but because I walked straight into it, it hit me. So
Did he elbow you?
I hit, it caught me inside the jaw. And I hit the mats, and I wasn't out cold. I was trying to get back on my feet, and I got back up, fell straight back down again. And one of the other guys had to drive me home. The other, my training partner friend, drove my car home, and I spent the next 2 weeks. It was feeling like I was out of my head or something because everything was just a daze. And I then come to the conclusion that concept wasn't the one for me and didn't work, and I'll never do that again.
Valuable lesson.
Yeah, I mean. It was a very valuable lesson, but I mean, people think we're sadistic because we laugh about these things, and I have to say to them, I joke with people. I say to them, I mean, we're the only place I know where two friends go and beat each other up to show each other they like each other. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, we're still having a good laugh about this incident, and but it's an accident, and you're training. And as I always tell my class, if you was painting, you'd get a bit of paint on you every now and again. We're training to fight. You're going to get hit every now and again. You just got to get over it. No one done it on purpose. And it was just that. But I mean, I am well known for getting injured. I mean, if it's not my ribs, it's putting my teeth through my lips. My shoulder at the moment is my new one. I broke my fingers last Christmas, broke my toe. I mean, last year was like a walking Wing Chun disaster. But the funny thing was, at no point did I stop training to nurse these injuries. You just train around them. I can't make a fist to train my legs. Yeah. The toe was the worst one because I couldn't move. But I'd done a lot of chi-sao on the spot. Yeah, so when I'd have broken toes, a lot of stationary chi-sao and a lot of sunim tao because I can work out on the spot.
I love that you shared that story because so many instructors out there, they let their ego shine a bit too much, and they never share these stories of them getting knocked out, they getting hit, and like keeping this air of invincibility and stuff. And
it's nonsense because we know from watching boxing and sports like that you could put two of the best boxers in the ring together, the best in the world. They're both going to hit each other.
So you have like somebody who's a total beginner with an expert, and they spar. The beginner will hit the expert because it's like we have two hands and two legs, for God's sake.
Super. It's just, and the only person, in my opinion, you're kidding with that nonsense is yourself, because everybody knows that you're gonna get hit. I mean, for me, funny you mentioned that horrible word, ego. Ego is the biggest killer of talent in martial arts.
Interesting.
Because I've seen some people with the potential to be really, really good start believing they're actually good. Yeah. And start walking around they're actually good. And then they stop training, and then it's just a slippery slope. As you said, quite rightly, one of the most senior guys I get to train with, Seafood Mark Phillips, he's one of the most humble guys I know. Once a month, I train up with Seafood James Sinclair at our instructor sessions, and I'm in a room with some of the best martial artists I've ever met, who are all the most humblest guys I've ever met as well. Yeah. There ain't no egos. Yeah, I can go in a room with average martial artists, and that's when the egos come out. You tend to find the really good guys, I've noticed, don't tend to have an ego because of the old saying, they let their hands do the talking. Do you know what I mean? It's bad. I mean, I'll give you another example. I trained before my class on a Friday night. 2 weeks ago, I split my lip wide open sparring. I teach the first half of the class with my mouth packed up with paper just to stem the bleeding. Simple fact is because it wasn't nothing spectacular. I didn't wear gum shield, and the guy caught me. But as you probably know yourself, it's really easy to put your teeth through your lips, and the guy caught me. But the other side of the coin is I train. I'm going to get injured.
So for the people who are listening right now, from the personal development side, we're talking about teeth going through lips. We're not referring to actually the teeth going through the actual lips, like a hole, just like getting like a cut inside of your mouth. People are probably listening right now and saying, why would I ever want to do that? What are you talking about, personal development through martial arts? I like my teeth, I like my toes, I like my mouth. Why should I do all this stuff, right?
I mean, again, this is the thing though, the wonderful thing about martial arts is you don't have to. It's up to you how hard you train, isn't it? I mean, guys like us train particularly hard, so you're gonna acquire injuries, right?
Dude, I have more injuries.
You never
ever come
out of a class that injured. You'd never come
No.
out of Steve Clark Phillips' beginners class with a split lip. And to be honest with you, even our advanced class, any injury I have is in my personal training, because
Mm-hmm.
I'll train harder at a higher intensity in my personal training, not in a class environment. With guys I've agreed to meet up with and agreed to train at that level. It's impossible to go in a class where you're changing partners and so forth. And train at that level, you couldn't do it because it's not what the class is where you go to get your ideas anyway.
So, yeah, I 100% agree with what you said, and it's very important to mention this stuff. And guys, to be honest, like I had more injuries just playing football than ever training martial arts, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's much safer
What,
than
bro?
playing football.
I mean, playing football, I broke my wrist, I broke my foot. Martial arts injuries are very few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the fact, as I say, you get the odd one because at the end of the day, you are practicing a fighting style. That's
Yes.
just the nature of what we do. But we don't. I mean, speaking at a school with 150 students, we don't have any serious injuries there. Never. Not in my knowledge since I've been there.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And injuries, like accidents, tend to come when you misobey the rules, shall we say? When you do something you shouldn't. So you take me splitting my lip the other week. Rule number one: wear gum shield. I didn't bother. I was too lazy to put it in. Do you know what I mean? So these things usually happen when should we say guidelines ain't followed. And yeah,
Like,
one of the biggest things I always say to the guys, and I make them do whoever doing training days, wear your gum shield. And just because it was like 5 minutes before the class and someone went a quick spar, I went, oh, then, and I didn't bother putting a gum shield in.
dude, it's like this reminds me of my second karate tournament, right? It was so I had like the sparring, and they gave us equipment like a cup, right? Like, he said, wear this cup, and I'm like, because I was doing the competition in Greece, but I started training karate in Romania, right? In Romania, we had no equipment, no protection, no nothing, right? So I'm looking at that cup and saying, what am I, a wuss? And I threw it away, right? I get into the competition. First thing that happens, I get kicked between my legs. Then I ran to the cup and I put it on immediately.
That's not a nice feeling. That's not that unfortunately for me is another place that's a bit of a magnet for people I train with. I've had a couple of kicks, and about a year and a half ago I went and bought a cup, and it's the best bit of equipment I've ever bought in my life, because again, you want to eliminate any risk of getting injured really, and that is vital. But again, as I'm stressing, this is training at a level. You've done it in a competition environment. I'm training at a fairly intense environment. For Joe Blogs who do these martial art classes and that once a week, they're not really things I think you're going to need to worry about in a Wing Chun class.
Yes, absolutely.
To start. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully that's going to put a few of your viewers' minds back at ease. Yeah, come and join Wing Chun. It's fine. It's fine.
Cool. Let's just.
At the same token, we have to train a bit harder, because we are in danger of becoming a bit of a joke martial art if all people see is light, soft, flowy drills. And I know I'm not going to get on that subject now, but you wouldn't hear two guys training boxing who would really get annoyed because one of them's just punched the other one in the face. It's sort of part of their training. Do you know what I mean? So I do think, again, I'm not going to say at an early stage, but definitely guys that are saying that they're our top, representing the top level of what we do and what we love. We do need to see good hard training videos, and that's one of the things I get on Instagram. Is people saying, "Wow, you guys are actually trying to hit each other." Of course we are. We're not. It's a famous fighting style, famous brutal fighting style, back alley fighting style. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's famous for. And
I think MMA has a great contribution in that sense, because it's really stimulating us, at least the newer generations of teachers as well, to really test things out and leave the stuff that actually works and is useful, and actually experiment and see what works.
You can't hide, because of the way the world is now. You can't hide. I mean, in probably the 80s and the 90s, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't the internet, there wasn't all this. But you can be quite, you can hide. You can't hide now. And then the other side of it, everything's videoed. If you get called out and a guy pounds your head into the pavement, it's on video, and that's going to be on YouTube. And again, unfortunately, we have suffered a bit of that, where you've had Wing Chun guys with, you probably look and you think there's not a lot of experience realistically in them, get into a cage with an experienced fighter who's just
and you're playing somebody else's game as well.
Yeah. And I mean, the first one that always used to go through my head, the alarm bells there, was that you've got a guy who's claiming to be a Wing Chun guy going into a ring with an MMA fighter. Now, come on, this guy cross trains. This guy's a mixed martial artist. You do one style, so he does ground game. He's got a clinch game. He's doing some kickboxing.
Yeah.
There's no comparison, because I know myself that I will just take you to the ground. I'll take you exactly where I know you can't fight, and finish you down there.
Yeah.
Again, I think the modern guys are now accepting that we're not the complete martial art, and nothing's complete and perfect. So a lot of the guys do dabble in jiu-jitsu, and they'll give themselves a bit of ground game and that, rather than saying, yeah, I'll use my Wing Chun on the floor. I'd like to see that against a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be honest with yourself.
And I think a huge component, for all instructors is this humility, this idea of humility, and just saying, you know what, it's natural that somebody might get an advantage over me and they might knock me out. I'm human, right? It's just everybody gets hit, everybody gets knocked out. But if you surround yourself with this air of, oh, look at me, I'm a martial arts teacher, I'm amazing and stuff like that, you're gonna hit a wall or you're gonna find yourself in a very tight spot.
Yeah, do you not find though, them sort of guys, they create a sort of persona for themselves? Right, so let me give you an example, okay? I touch hands with all my students, right? So I'll touch hands with all the guys. I have no fear touching hands with any student, okay? Because number one, as an instructor, I should be able to handle them, otherwise I shouldn't be teaching them, first and foremost. Secondly, they're going to hit me, I know that. Do you know what I mean? So that's not a problem either. Now, this stems from Sifu Mark Phillips' approach, whereas he will walk around and touch hands with the students, okay? Now, the other extremes, you get instructors that will not touch hands with their students, will not, and it's because they're too good, they're too great, you're gonna ruin my touch, blah blah blah. No, the truth of the matter is, you don't want your student, in the back of your mind, you want to keep the persona that you're untouchable.
Yeah, and you're insecure.
Now, I think the better approach is the one where you're going around touching hands with the students, you're training with them, they might hit you, because you can learn from them. Do you know what I mean?
A lot.
And that's you've got to get away from that. Luckily, I mean, from what I see and what I'm always having a look on the internet, there's a lot of good Wing Chun schools, and a lot of guys doing good things, isn't there, out there for Wing Chun. And a lot of instructors seem to have that approach to go around and they'll train with their students.
Yeah,
I think the environment where it doesn't happen is few and far between. I'd like to think that. But I have heard of cases where, do you know what I mean, the Sifu is so revered, you can't even speak to him. Go and speak to the assistant instructor and he'll speak to the Sifu. You hear them sort of stories, do you know what I mean? And well, I've not been brought up in that environment, so it's nature nurture, isn't it? And
you're very lucky.
I've not been raised in the environment.
You're very lucky. Like, the environment where I learned was something along the lines of, don't teach your students, they're going to become better than you.
Yeah, see, that's and with. I'm the belief that I should want, and I do want, but you should want the guys to be better than you.
Yeah, why are you teaching?
Why would I want to hold someone back? It's madness. I can't. See, I don't think like this, and I don't get this mindset where someone teaches you a bit, but they won't teach you it all just in case you get too good. And I don't get that mindset, because if I get a guy that's really, really good, okay, at the end of the day, people are going to say, who taught you? And it'll be, oh, Dave Lampert. Sifu Mark Phillips, for argument's sake. People ask me who my Sifu is. Sifu Mark Phillips. Yeah. So straight away, there's two people linked with my progression in Wing Chun. Do you know what I mean? And not that it's even about that, but it's so you'll never eclipse the person teaching you, for starters, okay? And you want them to be better than you. You should want your students to be better than you.
Yeah, and there's room for everyone in this world,
But unfortunately, not a lot of people think, as you say, a lot of people they don't want to think like that. But then that probably stems into unfortunately, some people I'm led to believe go into martial arts just to make money and exploit people. So not all schools are honest schools, are they?
Yeah. Well, let's not get too much into that, right? There's enough marketing, or there's enough awareness of that, you know. So let's just jump it. What I'd really like to do right now is jump on Instagram and do like a Instagram live and get some live questions in and answer them. So I'll invite you over. You'll need to also get your Instagram, right?
Right.
So, yeah. Have you done a split screen before?
No.
We're gonna do that now. So it's just like you need to go to my profile once I start the live and start watching the live, right? And then I'll invite you over, and Instagram will let us share the screen and take live questions as well.
Fantastic.
Hey guys, what's up? If you're seeing this, you're probably watching the replay. I'm here with Dave Lampert. We just finished our interview together. I'll show you on Skype. So this is the interview for the for the Personal Development Through Martial Arts podcast. I'm waiting for him to join the live. There we go. So I can invite him over and share the screen. Dave, you'll need to reduce the volume on your phone, because we can hear each other through Skype.
Right. Is that better?
Yeah, perfect. So I'm inviting you over. You should see like an invite. There we go. There he is.
Oh.
Hey. So people are going to be joining in from both people who follow you and follow me as well. And guys, welcome to the live. Go ahead and if you have any questions that you want to ask Dave and you've been meaning to do so, go ahead and post your question in the comment section. Let's just go a bit over, what we discussed during our interview. Like we talked a bit about the wooden dummy.
Yeah.
And some of the challenges that you faced on your martial arts journey. By the way, what's like your favorite move on the wooden dummy?
Favorite move. My favorite, I would say move. I say section. My favorite section is the first section, the Park South sections. Park South chop off, kick, the one with the low bong.
Okay.
That's my favourite section because it's quite quick and energetic. I do like that, but I do like the fourth one after when you practice bouncing. Need to try. Hang on, just try to put my phone. The 1-1-1, the jut with the jut sails on it. I do like that section.
The double jut and the powers out.
Yeah. But yeah, the third's one that I usually warm myself up on because, like I say, it's quite it's fast and energetic and it gets the blood flowing.
Awesome. Let me just give a quick shout out to everyone watching. We have James saying hello from the UK, and Dave, I think you need to adjust your phone a bit so they can see you on Instagram as well. There we go.
Okay,
maybe grab your phone like that. Perfect. Hey James, hey Tufik. And guys, thanks so much for joining in the live. You will be able to listen to our full interview. I have Dave over here on Skype, recorded for the Personal Development Through Martial Arts podcast. And now we're at the end of our interview, but we will be taking 2 questions. So if you have any questions related to Wing Chun, related to martial arts, related to personal development, we'll be more than happy to discuss it. We've been talking about the wooden dummy form, about challenges, about not being lazy and coming to training. Forget the excuses. Move your butt to training.
Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Yeah.
Stuff like
There's
that.
no such thing as being tired.
Awesome. Let me know, guys, what do you love the most about Dave's Instagram profile? Because he was sharing before that some of you guys, by watching his posts, you decided to take up martial arts, gymnastics, stuff like that. What inspires you in his Instagram profile? Did you ever do like live Instagram before for your followers? This is the first time, right?
I only ever use it to post videos and photographs, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I love
it. Never. Sorry, go.
I love it because it's very interactive, with the people that are following. It's crazy what you can do today with Instagram stories and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's a handy tool to have. I mean, definitely, I suppose if you're trying to get yourself out there, or you're trying to share a hobby or something you enjoy, it's a wonderful way to share it with the world.
Hmm.
We're lucky we live in the environment in this generation where we've got all these means and ways of sharing the stuff we do. It's good.
Yeah, and people also get some inspiration. Like you said, maybe um, they wanted, like, imagine when you started doing martial arts again. If you had somebody following on, if you're following somebody on the internet, maybe you'd have done it sooner, or maybe you would have put more heart and energy in that sense before, right?
Yeah. I think it's good. I mean, again, I was lucky. I got from like sort of day one of training. I had guys around me that you sort of look up to, and they were inspiring characters, and you'd want to train like them. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose if you're just trying to get yourself into the martial arts, it can be good looking at other people and what they're doing. And I see a lot of wonderful stuff myself on Instagram. A lot of stuff people are doing, and it's brilliant. It amazes
Yeah.
me. And I look at them and I think, wow, I wish I could do that. So there's some amazing people out there. You don't realise you start seeing the stuff they're doing. So many people have got these talents that they keep quiet and they share on their Instagram accounts.
So let me ask
It's
you,
really
who inspires you aside from your Sifu? Who inspires you very much in the martial arts world or the Wing Chun community?
Wing Chun wise. I'm a big fan of Sifu Gary Kenzie's stuff.
Hmm.
He's Sifu in the UK. I do like his stuff. Sean Warcliffe, I've obviously read his books. These Wing Chun books are really good. And again, I like what they've done. The funny thing, they're all from the same sort of era of Wing Chun.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So they've all got quite a similar mindset. And then, yeah, I mean, there, there's there's loads, like I said, loads of stuff out there that I enjoy watching. Um, Trying to
Awesome.
think of it.
James is saying, I watched Karate Kid and that made me want to start.
Yeah, exactly. That's well, the same sort of generation. Because I mean, I remember seeing the Karate Kid films in the '80s, and as I said to you, like the Bruce Lee films. A big one for me was Big Trouble in Little China. I mean, that was one of my favourite films as a
Yeah.
kid growing up. And again, that sort of yeah, got me interested in martial arts.
To me, it was my cousin because he would always kick my ass every time. Like, he's a black belt in karate and 19 years older, and he just mopped the floor with me. I said, you know what? It's time. And that's why.
I do, I was saying a while ago that I just think you've got to get away. I'm not. This is contradictory because I say like you look on these accounts to be inspired, but the day you're truly going to start really getting somewhere is when you learn to inspire yourself. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, it's like from a teaching aspect, if you don't believe or motivate or inspire yourself, how can you honestly stand in front of people and try and teach and motivate and inspire them? And that going back to one of the questions you asked me, that is probably one of the biggest things I learned. You know that at the end of the day, you need to be your own inspiration because what happens when the person who inspires you goes?
True, true, true.
And so you have to sort of learn to be your own inspiration.
It's funny because I had like the previous interview with Sifu Mark Stas from the Wing Flow system, and we ended up talking more or less, or touching upon this subject, and it reminded me of Matthew McConaughey, right, when he won his Oscar. And he shared the story, like somebody asked him when he was 15, like they asked him, who's your hero?
Yeah.
And he said, me in 10 years. And then somebody asked him again when he was 25, like, who's your hero? He says, me in 10 years. Awesome. So yeah, guys, become your own heroes.
Yeah, again though the trouble is that fine line we were discussing between should we say being confident and being developing an ego. That's where the fine line comes in, isn't it? And that's the hard bit. Do you know what I mean? And that's where you need good guys around you to keep you humble.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That will keep you humble. And but yeah, it's definitely about having a bit of confidence in what you're doing. I mean, I see a fantastic quote the other day on the internet, and it sort of said that when we was all kids, we could believe in Santa Claus for 8 years, yet we can't believe in ourselves for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's just stuck with me because it's so true that you could believe in the strangest thing, yet you can't believe in your own ability for 5 minutes, and you've got to change that mindset realistically.
Or like if Internet Explorer has the courage to ask you if you want it to be your main browser, then you should have the courage to ask that girl out. Awesome. Okay, we're going to be closing up over here on Instagram, guys. Thanks so much for joining in. I'll see you guys next time. If you haven't followed Dave on Instagram, go ahead and check out his Insta profile. I'll link it. It's in the comments right there. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled for our interview together, which will be available next week. Until then, have a gorgeous, gorgeous evening. Dave, I had a lot of fun talking tonight. It's awesome to see, Wing Chun practitioners being so open with their stories, with their lives, and just inspiring more people with what they do. And I'd love it now towards the end if you would ask everyone watching a question that they can answer in the comment section. It can be something that you want like an opinion about, or something that you're feeling curious about. Whatever comes to mind.
I asked. I'll ask a question that I asked on a forum a while ago. I'd just like to know what people love about Wing Chun.
Okay. And for the people who don't practice martial arts, what would you ask them?
Who are they? I didn't know they existed.
Okay. So if you do Wing Chun, what do you love about Wing Chun? If you don't do Wing Chun, why are you not doing Wing Chun?
If one question for the people, and this one might go in your comment section. This is one they need to ask themselves, and that's what's stopping them doing what they really want to do.
Oh, that's
I don't have to reply obviously to that because that's a personal question, but I want everyone to have a long, hard think and just say what is stopping me from doing exactly what I want to do and where I want to be. It's something we all need to ask ourselves that, because we don't want to work the 9 to 5 for 49 years and then just retire. We've all got the chance and opportunity to do what we want to do.
That's very powerful, and I would challenge everyone listening to, to find it within themselves to write this comment, because the more you talk about it, the more you have clarity on it, the easier it will be for you to actually do it and take action, right? And it's just like you take it out of yourself and you see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, very. No, because I just think so many of us, we just hold ourselves back. We give ourselves all these if, buts, maybes, why you can't do this, why you can't do that.
Yeah.
And funny thing. I mean, I keep saying to you, I can't stress, I'm very lucky to have some really high level Wing Chun guys around me, helping me. And a thing that Chief James Sinclair said to me said to us, in a session a few months ago, was that you've got to stop telling yourself that you can't do things. You can't do things. Because as he said, there's enough people out there who are already going to tell you that you can't do things.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop telling yourself that. And that's what goes back to what we were just saying on the Instagram live. You've really got to learn to inspire and believe in yourself. And just try it. You only get one shot at this life, don't you? Try and do the things you want to do, and stop giving yourself reasons why you can't. Otherwise, I mean, all the people, you must get the questions when people say to you, am I too old to do martial arts? Of course you're not. Of course, you're never too old to start something.
Yes,
Do you know
exactly.
what I mean? We always try and put reasons on why we can't do things, and it's a bad habit, and bad habits ain't good.
I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too skinny,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly.
I
Exactly.
used to tell myself I was too handsome to do martial arts, but I got over that. So, do you know what I mean? You just got to get over it. But yeah, to be honest with you, that's what I'd like to hear from people. What is stopping you from doing what you want to do?
Awesome, awesome.
It's usually something. It's usually something mental, and it's usually you're usually quite surprised on how much you can actually accomplish if you put your mind to it. That's what.
Absolutely, absolutely. Excellent. Guys, thank you so much, guys and gals, of course. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and type your comments in the comment section. I'm looking forward very much to reading them, and I will reply to all your comments. Until then, until next time, have an amazing, amazing day. Dave, thanks so much for joining in and for
Thank you
your
for having
time.
me. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay guys, thank you so much for listening in. I hope this was super valuable for you. And also to get notified every time I post a new video on this YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to have unstoppable self-confidence without seeming arrogant, there's a link in the description where you can download the free report. And if you want me to personally help you with your martial arts training so that you get more speed, power, precision, stability, and have a deeper understanding of your body, you go ahead and you check the link for our online academy, which you will find, of course, in the description. And please go ahead and give us a rating on iTunes. It does help and it is very much appreciated. I'll see you next time.